Maalab na pagbati, Pilipinas. Ako po si Inday Espina Varona. You're watching ALAB Analysis. Artista, hindi terorista. Ito ang giit ng mga aktor, manunulat at iba pang alagad ng sina matapos na pinirmahan ni Pangulong Duterte ang Republic Act 11479 or ang Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020. Napakalakas ng protesta, no? Napakalakas ng panawagan na huwag niyang pirmahan, pero pinirmahan pa rin ni Duterte. Bakit vocal ang mga human rights defenders? Ano ang dangers na binibigay sa atin ng Anti-Terrorism Act? Ang sabi ng marami, ang pinakamalaking danger ay hindi lamang sa due process, kundi mismo yung nakatutok halos na parang mga armas, nakatutok sa ating tinatawag ng right to free expression. Ngayong araw pa lalalingin natin yan. No? Kasama natin ang direktor, ang film writer at ang actress na si Bibeth Orteza at ang film director at theater director na si Carlitos Siguion-Reyna. They will explain to us kung ano ba talaga ang impact sa sining itong Anti-Terrorism Act.
Alab ng katarungan, alab ng katotohanan, alab ng kalayaan.
Maalab na pagbati, Bibeth, Carlitos.
Hello again. Salamat for this opportunity.
How are you after what? almost 4 months of quarantine?
Almost 4 months. Hello.
Yeah.
Surviving.
Oo nga. Surviving, yes. Okay, I'm going to go straight to the point. So, bakit tutol ang artista sa anti-terrorism law? I mean, parang sa mga tao, teka na, terrorist pa lang yan. Ano naman ang kinalaman ng mga artista dyan?
At tutol kasi ang daming ipinagbabawal na hindi ko maintindihan kung bakit ipinagbabawal. Kasi una, yung background ng kung paanong ipinaglaban at nailagay sa Bill of Rights yung kailangang nandun ang freedom of expression nung panahon ni Lino Brocka. Kasi ang tagal-tagal na struggle na yan ng movie industry. And then, the movie industry, talagang ipinaglaban yan hanggang ipinanganak na yung Free the Artist movement, which eventually became the Concerned Artists of the Philippines. So, nandun na nga yung, nalagay na nga yung pakikipaglaban for freedom of expression at ipinanganak ang MTRCB, which is in essence supposed to be the prelude to self-regulation ng film and television industry. Tapos ngayon, ay parang lahat ng ipinaglaban hinggil at may kaugnayan sa freedom of expression, mawawala na.
Okay, but exactly how is it going to be lost?
Because there's a chilling effect. I mean, you know, ang nakalagay sa batas, ang lawak nung kanilang nilalagay na bawal ganito, bawal ganyan, pero ang vague. So parang kahit sinong tarpulano, pwedeng ma-accuse na ikaw ay terrorist.
Carlitos, bakit delikado na vague at broad itong provisions na to? I mean, in real terms, as a film director, for example, how do you see yourself inadvertently becoming a suspect under the anti-terror law?
I'm concerned about yung Section 9, yung inciting to commit terrorism.
Commit terrorism.
Yeah. Any person who, without taking any direct part in the commission of terrorism, shall incite others to the execution of any of the acts specified in Section 4 by means of speeches, proclamations, writings, emblems, banners, or other representations tending to the same shall suffer the penalty of imprisonment of 12 years. Kasi a lot of maraming ginagawang movies na that are because ang movies naman cover the Philippine human condition, and our Philippine human condition Kasama dyan all aspects of Philippine life. I mean, not only social, not only family dramas, but also the political situation. The political situation is one of those things that, talagang subject of, as we see going back to the films of Lino Broca, no? And then ngayon marami din gumagawa ng movies critical of government, policy, government behavior. So, ang concern ko is like, let's say, a movie like Maynila, for instance, if it were to be done now, could be viewed as incitement to, to rise against government or to, it could be viewed as an act of trying to bring down government and therefore could be viewed as could be branded as a terrorist act. So but it is actually basically, basically an exercise in an atmosphere of free expression of what the filmmakers and the people behind the movie feel is wrong with one of the aspects of our local human condition, and without bringing down, without any with intent to sedition or anything like that. Kaya it has that chilling effect. If you make a movie that is critical and sabihin na let's say may rally sa movie at kino-cover noon, di ba? Yung camera, maybe there's a scene, maybe there's yung isang anak ng pamilya is an activist and then shows the behavior of the activist, and syempre meron mga sama doon mga maaaring ibagsak ganyan, and that's pretty much showing the behavior of a realistic depiction, and the government could misinterpret, whether intentionally or unintentionally, the behavior of a character in the story as the intention of the film itself. So how we're dealing with people who are not really trained to read film language, and so may ganung danger. The other danger, I think, is that, speaking of people who are not really, not everybody's trained to read film language, no? So among those are, and I'm not speaking only of this particular MTRCB, but any MTRCB in the future, as has been shown by MTRCBs in the past. All films dadaan sa MTRCB. And if you have members who also do not know how to read context, cannot see the forest for the trees, will pick on a scene, like let's say in rally scene na yan, sinasabi ko, and say that goes against the anti-terror law. And therefore, na prior restraint ka na on that, if they decide to invoke that. So because the MTRCB is bound to harmonize their ratings with existing laws. So ito naging pasok na sa law, and then so they're bound to harmonize, to follow this, di ba? And yun ang gagamitin, whether they are they will have a lot of, syempre kung meron ka mga progressives in the board, magbabakbakan yan, of course, pero it's already parang you have an existing law that, contrary to the Constitution, right, no law shall be passed abridging freedom of expression. Meron ka ng ganon na law that, will can tend to do that, or if it's not doing that already. So yun ang concern ko. And then such filmmakers or the people behind it, the producers or whoever, we don't know nga whom they will call the offending party. Basta some people involved in that film will be liable for, maybe held liable for terrorist acts. And that the fact that meron ganong sort of Damocles hanging over your head will have a chilling effect, of course, on the free expression of ideas among filmmakers.
Okay. A small group of people, the Anti-Terrorism Council, which is basically composed of majority security officials ni Duterte, will be designating people, will be, as Esperon infamously said, making a list, of those who are supposedly terrorists or allies of terrorists. And of course, recently in Congress, we've heard Boying Remulla na nagrereklamo dahil bakit raw masama ang pinapakita ng mga telenovelas, no? Sa characters ng mga politicians, mayor, all the way up to the presidency. So, is it right to say that at this point, even without the law, medyo manipis na ang skins ng ating ng those in power, and also that there doesn't seem to be much patience for dissent in the government?
Wala talagang pasensya sa dissent. Kasi, among other things, no, meron silang provision in the law, no, in sequence 34. In cases where evidence of guilt is not strong, and the person, bailable naman yung offense, no, pwede daw yung person na huhulihin, ma-house arrest, i-curtail yung kanyang rights to travel. At the same time, habang naka-house arrest, bawal gumamit ng cellphone, telephone, email, computer, the internet, or other means of communications with people outside the residence until otherwise ordered by the court. And that's just for a person where evidence of guilt is not strong. Yes. So, paano kung
parang nakabartolina ka, pero ikaw ang gagastos.
Exactly. So even if you're a writer, you're Ricky Lee or Lowell Hati Bautista, you're finishing a script in the house, you figure, house arrest naman ako, I can finish this. Ay, hindi. Because you're not allowed to touch computers, you're not allowed to touch your cell phone. So what more if they think that they have something on you?
Sige. We'll shift a little bit, no? This is not actually the anti-terror law. But noong June 30, nabasa ko yata to, ay naglabas ang Film Development Council of the Philippines, no? Ang DOH, Department of Health, and Labor Department ng Joint Administrative Order on mandatory reporting of production shoots 7 days prior to the shoot, no? It's called Advisory Number 6, you know? So a lot of directors and filmmakers have questioned this, saying that the provisions seem to be even more draconian than the normal health and safety protocols that we have now. Exactly why are they protesting this? Saan magkakaroon ng problema?
Yeah, ang FDCP, they don't have regulatory powers, pero talked with DOLE and DOH departments basically, and then came out with a joint administrative order in which co-signatory ang FDCP, DOLE, and DOH. Now, FDCP is not a regulatory body, but naging co-signatory sila sa isang joint administrative order which issued regulatory directives. Now, in other words, nakiangkas sila sa regulatory powers ng dalawang agencies na yon. But what's interesting is in the joint administrative...
Did they add to it?
They added this, in that JAO, merong additional requirement which is about yung every production should register and file production details, including the people involved, the names of the people involved, budget, etc. And 7 days before. Now,
what does that have to do with COVID?
Exactly, yung mga budget and other production details, they're not yet specified at this point. Pero production details such as budget and number of people, the names of the people. Okay, yung number of people, names of the people.
Yeah.
I believe you may argue that is health related, safety. Because merong talagang directive ang DOH separately na no more than 50 people, no, or it depends, no, in the industries, may 10 to 50 whatever. Basta may cutback in the number of people. Pero dito sa GAO, the new thing is production details such as budget. And you know, meron pang ang other things I have to review with it. Pero what we're concerned about is, okay, basically, we're not sure kung nabasa talaga ito ng DOLE or inaprubahan nila talaga. I mean, well, they signed it, pero we're not, you know, the thing is, we're concerned and we feel that since separately, wala yung mga yon, yung mga 7 days before na reportorial requirement in the separate IATF, DOLE, and DOH, you know, and it is applied specifically to the film industry. One, it is being applied, yung 7 days requirement seems to be discriminatorily applied to the film production shoots, aside from, you know, in comparison with the other industries that are operating now. So that's one. And then but we're great cause of concern because of, you know, I wouldn't really have this much concern kung isolated move it, you know, if this were something like in a vacuum na. Pero we're looking at this kasi you can't help but think of the sunod-sunod na developments recently. So yung 7 days reportorial requirement, that's why I'm concerned that it might lead into, it could very well lead into asking for the script of the production, where, you know, what if they see that the script is not, you know, is not, it will have some criticism, let's say, of government policy or whatever, baka hindi bigyan ng clearance. So there's that, you know, suspicion of it's going there to prior restraint. Okay? Why? Because of the context. Because of the context, ito nangyayari.
Humingi ka ng permiso?
Well, right now they say it's only reportorial. But why would you have to submit this 7 days before? Because separately, DOH and DOLE are only requiring reports if there's an outbreak of a case of a pandemic of COVID among anybody. But now, itong napakialaman ng FDCP na GAO but signed off, nakiangkas sa regulatory powers ng DOLE and DOH, signed off by DOLE and DOH. This now adds the 7 days before you have to report, you have to register, and then details like that. Ngayon, that's right, the suspicion is there. I mean, I find it suspicious because in context of the behavior of governments in the recent months, the shutdown of ABS, yung ABS, tapos the concerning ito, sunod-sunod itong Maria Ressa, the judgment on Maria Ressa, tapos the anti-terror law. So it's in context of all of this. So that's why we're also kind of, hey, are these being done in isolation of each other? Parang not likely. Parang it looks like they are connected.
I hope the younger writers don't think it far-fetched na magsasubmit ng script, because my first screenplay, I had, before we could get a permit to shoot, I had to submit it first to Krame under a division of the Board of Review for Motion Pictures and Television. And then I also had to pre-submit the title. And they were asking why the title was like that. Yung mga ganon. So it's happened before. It's scary na mangyari uli. Nung nangyari,
What year did it happen?
I wrote my first screenplay 1979. Wala pa yung freedom of expression sa Bill of Rights noon. Eh ngayon andito na. Tapos pupunta tayo sa ganyan.
True, though, it's a very, very good point. Because if it's all about health and safety, nobody needs your script, no? Kapag, you know, you submit something because somebody's going to review it, right? I mean, kahit sa school, ganun tayo. So, medyo delikado nga yun. We're taking a break right now. We're just going to ask, no? Pupunta tayo sa segment na Masa on the Street. Tinatanong natin ang ilang mga apektadong alagad ng sining kung ano sa tingin nila ang impact, no, ng RA 11479 sa kanilang buhay. Pakinggan natin.
Sampalok, alis na o! Takot. Naghasig ng takot ang terror law ni Duterte sa ilan sa amin. Sa ginagawa naming online series na kritikal sa gobyernong ito, ang ilan sa aming mga kasamahan ay pinili ng manahimik at dumistansya mula sa aming grupo, ayon na rin sa kahilingan ng kanilang mga pamilya at mahal sa buhay. Nakakapanlumo na ginagawang bulag, pipi at bingi ang ilan sa amin dahil sa takot. Ngunit hindi dapat tayo tumigil lumaban. Kailangan nating lumaban hindi lamang para sa ating mga sarili, kundi para na rin sa iba, sa mga natatakot, sa mga inaabuso ng gobyernong ito.
Tulad ng martial law ni Marcos, ang Anti-Terrorism Bill ay pansamantala lamang magpapatahimik sa mga malikhaing artista. Ang takot ni Duterte na ang mga artista ay magiging lalong bukas tungkol sa nangyayari sa lipunan. Yan ay hindi makapipigil.
Sabi nila, pag wala ka daw ginagawang masama, wala kang dapat ikatakot. Aba, nakakatakot kaya yung huhulihin ka ng walang warrant of arrest, yung pwede kang ikulong ng 24 na araw kahit na walang kaso laban sa iyo. Yung simpleng pag-like, pag-post ko sa Facebook, pwedeng isipin na ako ay terorista. Hindi naman ako terorista. Ako po ay artista. At bilang artista, dapat meron akong kalayaan na pumuna sa mga kahinaan ng ating gobyerno. Hindi naman kayo perpekto eh. Hindi kayo dapat ng mga balat sibuyas. Dapat kahit hiyain ko kayo, hindi ninyo ako tinatakot. Dahil sa totoo lang, kung ang mga kritiko pinababayaan ninyong magsalita, eh maigagaling pa kayo. Sapagkat ang pag-criticize ay pagmamahal. Gets nyo ba yun?
Yung intended effect of the terror law is silence and passivity in the face of injustice. Siyempre, maraming artists and creatives yung nag-aalala na baka ma-surveillance, maakusahan, ma-detain, or even worse. Gusto ng terror law na tumahimik tayo habang kinukulong yung mga magsasaka, habang inaaresto yung mga tsuper at manggagawa, at habang kinokontrol ang mass media. Gusto nito tumahimik tayo tsaka pumikit lang habang naghahasik ng terror ang mismong estado. Gusto nito patayin ang ating siling na sumasalamin sa kalagayan ng bayan. Pero hindi tayo papayag and we will fight back.
Sampalok, alis na o! Dalawa!
Okay, so narito pa rin tayo sa ALAB analysis. Kasama pa rin natin sina Bibeth Orteza at Carlitos Siguion-Reyna, both directors. Ngayon, sa harap ng takot, siguro naman nagkakaisa tayo, no? Takot ang dulot, no, ng anti-terrorism law. What are artists doing now? Are they just going to run for cover? Are they going to let their art do the talking? Or are they stepping up as protesters, as citizens also, against the overreach of this
I think
law?
mukha namang people are reacting and making their views known in whatever way they know how. Some would go to join the rallies. Some are posting their thoughts on social media or traditional media, right?
Okay, Bibeth, nung panahon mo, nung panahon mo, in the late 70s, early 80s, wala, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have this, So mano-mano, no? Para mag-organize, para magplano ng mga protesta, you had to do it physically. From taking the perspective then and now, no? What are the strengths of that digital space and access to technology gives us now? Where does it make us stronger at the same time? Where does it make us weaker or complacent?
I think stronger because you get results quickly. But I think part of the thing that, the bigger thing that we should also do is like people who've been here before in this spot, when we say na It's happening to me twice in my lifetime. I think we should all sit together
Yeah.
and ask ourselves, why did we get here? Where did we
It's a
fail?
painful question.
Yeah. Which we need to confront. We have to ask that question. Where did we go wrong? Why are we here again? Remember, early on after EDSA 1, I was in New York when it happened, and then I got back here in Manila March 10 of 1986. Shortly after that, iba na yung presidente, President Cory, and blah, blah. Remember, we were all talking about what will happen to the so-called Cory babies. Because one of the things that we were all reacting about, ang karamihan doon yung mga women activists, was yung ating educational materials, hinugot na eh. Nagkaroon ng ganong part na just because certain reading materials were studied in the time of Marcos, tinanggal na rin yun. They took out Diwang Kayumanggi, they took out Diwang Ginto, they took out Philippine prose and poetry, all of the Cory babies, very, very few read something like how my brother Leon brought home a wife. I mean, these things, tinanggal, and then we were all saying, ano mangyayari sa Cory babies? They're now about 40 years old. Sila na yung kausap natin ngayon sa internet. We have to study. We have to study. Paano tayo nakapunta rito? Where did we go wrong? Did we just get stuck kasi at blaming Marcos? Marcos na lang. But without studying where else we went and what the mistakes that we made. I think we need to go that. It's a painful question, but we really need to study and look now where we are.
Going back to that question of where did we go wrong, I mean, the more we really have to address education, not only in schools, but as a community, as a civil society, we have to address our own, the way we have to really see the value of training our citizens, our younger, the youth, to be more, the value of critical thought, critical thinking, getting information from various sources, knowing how to assess, how to question the quality of the information. So, and if you look at the internet, nandiyan naman yan eh. I mean, what do you really read in the internet? So that's not only in the internet, but in traditional education, also everything else na.
Ngayon, we're time's running out, but before I ask you to give your closing messages, speaking of the generations, you've got two young adult children, Have they ever asked the question, where did it go wrong? Or did they ever have an opinion about where they thought the generation went wrong?
This is what we're talking about: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and every day, and then because you need to guide them, and to make them see. But at the same time, we don't want to just impose on the kids what we think they should believe. So it's so interesting to see them form their ideas on their own. And then, like for instance, I spoke up to defend the franchise of ABS-CBN, but he based it on his experience when he was in college in New York. And then he realized that the spread of the culture, of the Filipino culture, was also related strongly to TFC. Yung mga ganyan. So that's what we saw in this pandemic. The children were, the siblings were getting more and more interested to find out what was going on. At the same time, teaching us to handle all of these things in the computer that we do not anymore know.
I think going back to this anti-terror law, I parang what worries me lang is that, the definitions of terrorism seem to be, para bang, usually you have intention of the person who is talking, right? The person who is doing, the actor, the one who is doing things. And then that's different from impact on the one who is receiving the action or receiving the information. Now, normally, you would see, di ba parang mataas ang standard to prove somebody's a terrorist. Normally, you consider really the intention of the person. Pero dito, it seems to be like a lot of the definition of terrorism is based, even if it is defined, no, there. Pero a lot, it gives room for this for the wielding power to give more weight to the impact of the action rather than the intention of the one doing the action. So,
or the potential impact.
Yeah. So para bang, anyone can take offense. That's what anyone can take offense. I mean, with this, parang anyone seems to be able to take offense without considering if the person being charged intended that offense. You know what I mean? Like, that's why
Parang libel.
I'm talking about, going back to let's say incitement, and if you do a movie, you didn't intend to bring down government, but it could be viewed as that because yun ang impacted do sa nanood, do sa let's say some agency na nanood. Hey, this I feel that parang it's not very strict. It's broad in that sense. Parang that's just my concern about it. It's parang mababa ang standard for the accusation.
So broad, it becomes vague. So anybody can just, and anybody who's in the office can just say, ay, oo, mukhang terrorist, wala pa dito si Sir eh. Pero di bale, tayo na lang mag-desisyon ito, hulihin na yan.
Okay. Well said, thank you. And that's a very, very good point because ang problema nito sa anti-terror law is when definitions are very broad, when there's plenty of leeway, the discretionary powers of a few people, exponentially grow, especially since they've sidelined the judiciary in the same law. No? So parang judge, jury, executioner ngayon ang ating Anti-Terrorism Council. But of course, for the last is, paano ngayon ay sabi ni Duterte at sabi ni Esperon, pag hindi naman kayo terorista, hindi kayo dapat matakot. Your last thoughts on that.
Di ba sabi ni Kian, tama na po, may pasok pa ako bukas. He was clearly thinking of his homework the next day, but still they shot him and insisted that he was a pusher. So, paano ganun na rin? Yung mga igigiit nila na terorista kahit wala silang pruweba. Kasi, nakakatakot eh. Nakakatakot the makeup of the Anti-Terrorist Council, Executive Secretary, the Vice Chairperson will be the National Secretary Advisor, DFA, Secretary of National Defense, etc., Secretary of Finance, Secretary of Local Government. Paano head ng Anti-Money Laundering Council? Silang magdideklara na baka baka terrorist ka?
Sa akin, ang concern ko with that, okay, it sounds very, safe and harmless dahil nga kung wala ka namang ginagawang terrorist act or masama, you have nothing to worry about. Sa akin kasi it gives little comfort because the one who still defines kung ano yung masama is still that power. It's not really, parang all it needs is what? Is it a judge? One judge to sign off on an order to ano ba yun? Court of Appeals yata yun, I'm not sure. I think it needs one judge to to get an order, to sign off on an order that allows them to wiretap and ganyan, that sort of thing. So it's wala kasing check and balance really. I mean, there's not sufficient check and balance to counteract that executive power, and appointed by the executive in this anti-terror council. Kung isang judge lang ang magde-decide, no, and and therefore, kung ano yung masama, kung ano yung terrorist, it's still, it leaves little comfort kasi nga yung magde-define is still the same ones who would want to arrest you, with very little room for a dissenting a voice that would dissent with that definition. So it's not of great comfort.
Maraming salamat, Carlitos, Bibeth. Thanks for joining us today. And that was a very good point. No? Pag walang checks and balance, problemato talaga ang isang batas. Pag walang checks and balance sa society, problematic yung democracy natin. On the other hand, we do have a president who hates check and balance, and who hates dissent, and who hates being questioned, period. Suma total, artista, direktor, litratista, periodista. Hindi kami perfecto, pero hindi kami terorista. Ang nagpapalabo lamang sa maliwanag na katotohanan ito ay ang grupong gustong magpalawak ng kapangyarihan at impluwensya. At dahil dito ay gustong mapatahimik ang mga taong merong views o paniniwala na hindi lagi sumasang-ayon sa kanila. Ang gobyernong ito ay 4 na taon nang paulit-ulit na nagsasabi na kapag ikaw ay hindi nakikisa sa kanila, ikaw malamang ay terorista, enemy of the state, o anuman tawag nila sa iyo. Sa panahon ngayon, kung saan sunod-sunod talaga ang pag-atake sa free expression, hindi tayo dapat manahimik. The right to free expression is one of the best guarantees that all our other rights are respected. You kill free expression and you have an open road for abusers of other rights. Iisa lang ang sagot sa pag-aatake sa mga karapatan natin, lalo na sa ilalim ng Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020. The only answer is to resist hard, to stand up for the truth, and to act on that truth. There is no other way, because what they want to give is the silence of the graveyard. We are a people who must live, thus we must fight. Para po sa ALAB analysis, hanggang sa susunod na episode. Ito po si Inday Estina Marona.